Welcome back. Another week to learn and grow and develop and get better. And that's exactly what we're doing this week, covering 3 harsh truths that you must know to be a successful leader. They're not easy. That's why they're hard. But you've chosen this idea, this concept, this calling of being a leader. And we might as well cover a real life topic from the NFL to help you on your leadership journey. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Before I share this story with you about Dave Canales and the lowly Carolina Panthers and the lessons we can learn from it. If you're in an organization that's struggling with turnover, lack of leadership skills in your managers, and you want to find a better way, you want to find a partner that will help you and your organization with the assessments and the skills building and the content and the tools to help your leaders be more effective, go to learnloft.com. Check out the Accelerate Leadership System. We are looking for one organization to partner with this quarter to help them before the end of the year. Go to learnloft.com if you think your organization might be a great fit. Now, what are these harsh truths? And what is this story of where these harsh truths come from? Well, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Carolina Panthers are my favorite NFL football team. They have been since they were born in 1995. Well, we've fallen on hard times. That would be a nice way to say it. And the owner of the Carolina Panthers, David Tepper, decided that he needed to find a franchise quarterback because that was a requirement to be successful in the NFL. Well, they traded 4 draft picks, a starting wide receiver for the first pick in the draft a year and a half ago. And they chose a young man named Bryce Young. Whether you're a football fan or not, it is not even the point of this story. They gave up a lot of capital, talent, future picks for this young man that they thought was their future. They put him in early. He struggled. They changed coaches. They hired a brand new coach this year named Dave Canales, a young coach in his late 30s, to help be the QB whisperer for their franchise quarterback. Well, 2 weeks into the season, the Carolina Panthers are 0-2, and Bryce Young is bad. He's playing bad. He's not playing near his potential or where they drafted him. And right after the game, after they got blown out for a second week in a row, Dave Canales said, Bryce Young is still our quarterback. We're going to watch the tape. He's still our quarterback. I still believe in him. Well, one day later, Dave Canales and the Carolina Panthers announced that Bryce Young would be benched as the starting quarterback of the Panthers in favor of a 36-year-old veteran quarterback. Seems like no big deal. But then you start to really dig into it, and it is a big deal. It took a very big decision by Dave Canales to make. He actually said, after taking a look at the film and looking at all of the data, this decision was the best decision for our team moving forward. He said, I owe it to all the guys. Now, Canales brings up an important point for you and for me before we get to these harsh truths. Leaders are responsible for the team, not just the individual. Team comes first. A team by definition is a collection of 3 or more people working together to achieve a common goal. See, most managers think they lead a team because they have a lot of direct reports. It just means you lead a collection of individuals, or you're responsible, or you manage a collection of individuals. You don't actually manage a team. A team is a group of 3 or more people working together to achieve a common goal. And what Dave Canales understands is that he is responsible for the team, and the team comes first. But this is where it gets really tricky, because the best leaders know that leadership is relationship. They have to build individual relationships with each team member to lead them the best that they can, to build trust, to be able to challenge them, to be able to know what's going on in their life to help them meet their potential. And it can be awfully tempting in these situations that you start to really like someone, you become friends with them, or that you care about them on a deep level. And making a decision like this becomes even more challenging. There's almost zero doubt that Dave Canales wants Bryce Young to be nothing but ridiculously successful and to meet his potential. But he had to put the team first. So here's the first harsh truth that you need to know about leadership. Leaders have to make tough decisions. Leaders have to make tough decisions. You wouldn't be in your position today if you weren't able to make them. And these decisions are extremely tough when it relates to people, because there's a good chance that you care deeply about this member of your team that you want to be successful. But the team must be bigger than that one relationship. It is team over individual. And if you're a part of a team where the leader prioritizes the individual or makes a one person bigger than the team, you should run because they're unwilling to make the tough decision. There's no sugarcoating this. Making decisions as a leader of a team is not going to make everybody happy. And if that's what you want, if that's what you desire, maybe leadership is not for you. But then you got to think the counter to that. You're never going to make everybody happy, no matter what you do. That's why you must put the team first. And you got to be willing and able to make a tough decision. And one of the best ways to do this is to set a deadline to make the decision. Don't be afraid of it. This decision is, just because you make a decision doesn't always mean it's permanent. It could if you let somebody go or if you demote them like this, but it's also possible that it's not permanent. This decision could be a type 2 decision, which means it's not permanent. Very rarely do you actually make a type 1 decision where there's no coming back from it. And more often than not, that tough decision ends up being a good one. There's a saying that I just love. It's, don't worry about making the right decision. Make the decision right. In this case, Dave Canales is making a tough decision. Now he's got to go make the decision right. He's got to go pour into Andy Dalton and still help Bryce Young. He's not cutting him. He's got to go make the decision right for the team. That's the first harsh truth. Leaders make tough decisions. The second hard truth is this is and can be a reflection of the leader. I mean, when somebody fails, when somebody struggles, it can be a reflection of you and your leadership. It can be a reflection of your coaching skills, your inability to connect with them or to teach them in the way that they best learn. And that's a hard pill to swallow. The best leaders I've studied actually look in the mirror first anyways. They're always going to look through the lens of what else can I do, because they believe they are the CEO of their own life. So it doesn't surprise me that the best leaders believe it's a reflection of their leadership, because it probably is. But while also saying that, they also understand that leaders can't claim the change for anybody else. And the timing is not always perfect. Just because it's not now doesn't mean it's never. But it is a great time to look in the mirror when someone struggles or fails and say, what else could I have done? What else could I do differently in the future? Because you're not perfect, and neither am I. When someone fails, when you have to make a tough decision, it can be a reflection of your leadership. But here's the best part. You're still in the position so you can do it better in the future. Which leads us to the third hard truth that you must hear today if you want to be a successful leader. Don't keep throwing good money after bad. Leaders have to realize that just because you decided something at one point doesn't mean you have to keep deciding that. If you made the wrong decision and things are not going right and your team has put in a lot of effort for it and it's not working, change it. I was on a coaching call today, and I don't know where I got this idea from, but I got this visual example of a house that was on the beach and the land was eroding. And it's a beautiful house. I mean, it's gorgeous. But if you knew the house was eroding and it wasn't going to be there long, would you renovate the kitchen? I mean, now you might live in it longer until it's no longer inhabitable. But if you put money into a house that's eroding and you know it's eroding, it's just a bad decision. You're throwing good money after bad. Now, this is particularly difficult when it comes to people because people can change. I wouldn't be in my business, or I don't think you would be in your business if you thought someone couldn't change. It would be a very fixed mindset way to look at the world. So it's not just a house that you know with 100% certainty is eroding. You're talking about people that do have the ability to change. And we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. We want to help them. But once you know, you have some inclination, some experience and knowledge and data that supports that things are not right and things are not getting better in the timeline that's required for them to perform and to help their team to perform, it's time to move your investment into somebody else or onto somebody else. Every team tends to be made up of three groups. You have low performers, medium performers, and high performers. A low performing, some teams that's 10 or 15%, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. The middle might be 50 or 60 or 70, and that top right is 15 or 10, whatever. Let's just say, for the example, we have a 15% low performers, 70% middle performers, and 15% high performers. A bad leader is going to keep throwing good money after bad by spending all of their time, energy, and effort, or the majority of it, on those low performers, trying to fix them, trying to help be the savior to them and hope they do it better tomorrow. But instead of that, what you should do is go to those middle and high performers and go help them. It doesn't mean that the low performers aren't important or that you don't care about them, but your time and your energy is a limited resource, and we've got to put it in the right places. I'm sure Bryce Young is a phenomenal young man. Nothing would indicate that he's not. And my hope is that he goes on to be a really successful quarterback in this league, in the NFL. That would be wonderful. And my hope is it's for the Carolina Panthers. But the lesson here is not about Bryce Young. The lesson here is about Dave Canales and the harsh truths that we can learn from this particular situation. Dave Canales knows that the hard truth is he's got to make tough decisions. That's why he's in this position. And if he's not willing to make them, and he's not able to make them, he won't be in this position long. So what decision do you have right now that's a hard decision that needs to be made and only can be made by you? Because don't wait on someone to give you the easy road out and to leave by themselves. Great leaders are willing and able to make tough decisions. Number 2, when somebody fails, it can be a reflection of your leadership. Study it. Figure out what you can do better. Ask them. Change your techniques in your coaching moving forward. Pivot, adjust. Give yourself some grace. You're human. You're not going to do it right every single time. And number 3, don't keep throwing good money after bad. Once you've given everything that you've got and it's not working, move on. There's a lot of other people that need your leadership. There's a lot of other organizations that need your leadership. We are in a leadership crisis. There's a lack of leadership in organizations across the world. Trust me when I tell you, your leadership is needed somewhere. Go find the best place for it. I don't like to be the deliverer of these harsh truths because they're kind of mostly for me. If I'm being really honest, in the situations that I lead in, it's not just this podcast. It's leading a 6th grade football team. It's leading at home. It's leading at work. It's building a business. It's with my family. And these are good reminders for me. As my mentor, Pat Lencioni, says, people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. And these are reminders for me as much as they are from you. But it's my hope that some of these ideas and these stories and these principles will help you and encourage you wherever you are on your leadership journey right now. Until next time, be a great leader at work and at home.